Welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons Homebrew Builds, the series where I'll be constructing classes, weapons, races, and more based on characters and items from your favorite anime, comics, TV shows, and video games. So I know I mentioned dropping a poll to see what class we'd be doing next, but I had to make a special veto for this video. To celebrate the spooky season, I'll be constructing a class based on the prayer from the game Witchfire.
Must be the season of the witch.
I wanted to do this last year when there was a ton of hype surrounding Witchfire, and when I originally got into the game since I thought the game and the character were really cool, but I missed the time window for Halloween, and here we are a year later to rectify that mistake. So, jumping right into the class, and if everything isn't 100% accurate to what's current for the game, just know that this was created a year ago. Let's start with hit points, proficiencies, and spell casting. So I gave the Prayer a d10 for its hit die since, while it does feature spell casting, it's primarily closer to a ranger or a fighter, and though it specializes in ranged combat, it's a class built for medium to close ranged combat and is designed to be a frontline DPS, or at least close to the front lines. The proficiencies will be light and medium armor, as prayers don't typically wear an excessive amount of armor to retain mobility. They have proficiency with shields to help with the lack of heavy armor defense. They're a bit of a jack of all trades in the weapons department, with proficiency in simple and martial weapons, since it's reasonable to believe that a prayer would be trained to kill a witch with any weapon or means they could possibly possess. They get proficiency in alchemist's tools, as it would allow for them to create different potions and tonics to either weaken certain creatures and witches, or strengthen themselves in the face of unholy terror. Their saving throw proficiencies are in dexterity and intelligence because of their agility and to defend against arcane threats. And they get 3 skill proficiencies from a list of acrobatics for their agility in battle, Arcana to defend against and use the dark arts, Athletics due to their physical fitness, History to remember any weaknesses they can about their targets, Insight to deduce who is and isn't a witch or an agent of one, Investigation for the same reason, Religion because they're members of the church, and Survival so as to allow them to survive in the wilderness of the lands they are deployed to. They also have spellcasting from their Witchfire feature, this is their spell level list, and their spellcasting ability is Wisdom. With the foundational stuff out of the way, let's get to the fun part, the class features. Starting at first level, we get a whopping 4 class features: Witchfire, Spells, Witch Hunter's Power, and the Lord's Grace. So the Witchfire feature, the main power of a prayer stemming from their witch blood granting them supernatural powers that they can use to hunt witches, can be broken down into 3 main benefits. First, a ranger-like ability that grants you advantage on tracking certain creature types or recalling information about them to reflect your being a hunter. The second is an ability that allows you to Misty Step as a bonus action once per round, or double jump when you jump at the cost of a point of stamina, of which you have a number equal to your con modifier to a minimum of 1, with you only being able to regain these stamina points if you go without using these abilities, at a rate of 1 round for 1 point, or obviously if you're like healed with a spell or you rest or whatever, and at the potential detriment of gaining a stage of exhaustion if you use all of your stamina. And finally, the third special benefit of this feature, spellcasting and spell slot regeneration when you damage a creature. This is pretty much the quintessential feature for a prayer upon which all others must be built. Also, just in case you aren't keeping track, you'll need good dex or strength for combat, good con for your Witchfire abilities, and good wisdom for your spellcasting. Wolf. Next is the spells feature. You basically gain the ability to cast spells with stamina points. You gain light spells that cost 1 stamina point, cost a spell slot of the spell's level, and are typically weaker, and heavy spells that cost 2 stamina points, also cost a spell slot, and are stronger. You get 1 of each type of spell, and can learn more as you level up, though you can still only prepare 1 of each. Pretty simple all things considered, but it gives you a second special group of spells you can use unique to your class. Next is Witch Hunter's Power, which is basically just the martial arts feature. And finally, another incredibly important feature, the Lord's Grace. Being that Witchfire the game is a first-person shooter at its core, you can imagine that a prayer is quite reliant on firearms as their main means of combat. And so, with this feature, you are given the Hunger Pistol by the Vatican. This pistol has special abilities like Devastating Shot, where you can use your bonus action to deal additional damage, push a target back 10 feet and knock them prone. It has Holy Rounds, blessed by the Vatican, that deal additional radiant damage to certain creature types, and it can be used to attack multiple times per round. Not even just that, it also grows stronger as you level up. 6th level gets devastating shots more damage based on how many consecutive critical hits you've gotten since your last reload. And 7th level makes your first shot after a reload a crit if it lands, and if you get 6 critical hits in a row, 6 because it's a 6-shooter, then the target is frozen in a block of ice. This baby is going to be your meat and potatoes along with your spells, so be sure to keep ammo stocked. With that in mind, 2nd level is where you can decide to specialize in a certain kind of combat. You get a fighting style at 2nd level, each one granting you a special gun. The Echo is a shotgun, so specialized for close range, has a cone attack to represent a shotgun spread, and a special feature that makes it so that you don't have disadvantage on attack rolls at close range. As you level up, this gun gets incendiary rounds that knock back on a crit, rounds that become explosive incendiary rounds on a crit, and an ability that allows you to automatically load 2 shells into Echo if you use the dash ability from the Witchfire feature, the Misty Step feature, as a bonus action before attacking. Doing so doubles any damage dealt by that weapon for the rest of your turn. For the player who's more about quantity over quality, we have Midas, the auto rifle. It deals a little less damage, but has a bigger magazine and also has a cone attack when firing in a full auto spread, but doing so costs 10 rounds per round. At 4th level, after using the auto fire cone for 3 rounds straight, the gun overheats and your bullets deal additional fire damage. That lasts for 2 rounds, but if you continue to auto-fire without giving the gun a chance to cool off, your bullets will melt and deal a d6 less piercing damage until Midas is given 3 rounds to cool off without the auto-fire feature being used. At 6th level, overheated bullets also set the targets on fire, and at 8th level, you can reload as a bonus action if Midas is overheated. Not only is it an automatic weapon with a big magazine, but a lot of its features revolve around its auto-fire feature, specifically when it's overheated, so keep that in mind and try to strike a balance between hot, but not too hot. Hailstorm is your long-ranged option, a sniper rifle perfect for backline DPS. As soon as you get it, all ranged attacks with it get a +2 attack roll bonus since accuracy is its trade, every 3rd critical hit you score refills your magazine instantly and gives you 2 extra bullets in the magazine as well, and each consecutive crit grants you a +1 attack roll bonus with the Hailstorm, which keeps stacking until you don't crit, until you miss, or until you reload, at which point the stack resets. Like a typical sniper rifle, Hailstorm's all about accuracy in the attack roll bonuses and critical hits. Something you definitely want to aim for as a sniper. The Hailstorm only gets 1 level up feature, but true to its name, every 3rd consecutive critical hit you score freezes the target and any hostile creatures within 10 feet of it. Now, landing 3 consecutive critical hits is going to be hard, maybe less so with things like the Lucky Feat, but freezing in this class is quite the devastating effect, so the trade-off is worth it in my opinion. Let's say you're a long-range fighter, but not a different area code long-range kind of guy. Then the All-Seeing Eye is for you. It's a bolt-action rifle that allows you to take a full round action, so this is your action, your bonus action, your free action, and even your movement action, to make a ranged attack with this weapon at advantage due to more carefully aiming. You also deal an additional d10 of damage to creatures with 75% or more of their maximum health left, so a great weapon to start a fight with. As you level up, crits create shockwaves that deal a little force damage, and crits on creatures with 75% or more of their maximum health remaining deal additional necrotic damage, and cause them to take necrotic damage every round for a minute due to literally decaying. Lastly, an auto pistol called the Cricket. Due to being an automatic weapon, you can attack as a bonus action with this weapon if you first attack with this weapon using your action, you can attack twice per action with this weapon, and you can reload this weapon as a bonus action due to it being a magazine-fed handgun. An additional cool little perk is that when you kill a creature with the Cricket and gain a spell slot back from Witchfire, you gain an additional spell slot of the same kind as well. At 5th level, using the Misty Step dash after killing a creature automatically reloads your Cricket, and at 6th level, using the Misty Step dash after killing a creature also grants the Cricket a +1 to damage rolls, which stacks with consecutive dashes and kills, but resets if you either don't use the Witchfire dash or if you don't get a kill. Classes are a recent addition to Witchfire, so back when I made this class a year ago, I had to improvise for subclasses at 3rd level. At 3rd level, you can choose your Arcana, your subclass. You can be a man-at-arms, which focuses on weapons, a warlock that focuses on using their witch powers, or a witch hunter that focuses on special bonuses and buffs from their witch hunter training. For example, man-at-arms at 3rd level gets Empty of Magic, which makes your firearms deal +5 damage when you're out of spell slots, and Firearm Mastery, which grants you a +2 attack roll bonus to all attacks made using firearms. Warlocks are a little more involved though. They get Lasting Element, which makes elemental conditions like burn or freeze inflicted by a spell last a round longer, Shattered Soul, which causes creatures frozen by your spells to take damage over time while frozen, and Heat Exhaustion, which makes it so that creatures weaker than you that you've set on fire with magic also get knocked back 5 feet by your attacks. Of course it's all about magic, but it's got some interesting effects, mainly on elemental magic to start. Witch Hunter is the simplest. Health boost grants you the tough feat, and blood transfer makes it so that when you kill a creature, you can roll a percent die. On a 60 or higher, you can basically turn a creature into a potion of health. 4th level is business as usual, an ability score improvement, and 5th level gets you extra attack, which does in fact stack with any extra attacks granted by any prior features or weapons. 6th level gives us what's basically a class feature version of Hunter's Mark to again play on this class being a hunter of witches, Prayer's Mark. It's the same idea of using a bonus action to gain advantage against and deal more damage to a target you can see within 60 feet of you, but instead of using up your precious spell slots or even your stamina points, it instead can just be used a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus per long rest, so Hunter's Mark but intrinsically tied to the class instead of just being a generic spell, and without using any of your other limited resources. At 7th level, you get Vulture, a demonic crossbow weapon that has been bound and tamed by divine power. It deals necrotic damage due to being a demonic weapon. It has the same accurate shot ability as the All-Seeing Eye, where you can take a full round action to gain advantage on an attack and then attack, except this one gives you advantage on the attack and then makes reloading the crossbow a full round action, and this weapon uses explosive bolts that explode and deal additional fire damage. As for our subclasses, Man-at-Arms gets Anti-Element, which make it so that your attacks gain an additional damage die if the creature you're attacking is inflicted by a condition from your elemental magic. Warlock gets Thunderbolt, which gives lightning damage spells a +5 damage bonus. They also get Refreeze, which makes it so that when a creature is frozen from your ice magic and thaws out, they instantly refreeze. And Witch Hunters get Safe Deposit, where you can only lose Witchfire by using it to cast spells, meaning your spell slots and your stamina points can only be drained from use and cannot be siphoned, absorbed from you, or stolen in any way without tampering with your very soul first. And even then, they would need to both be able to manipulate your soul and steal your spell slots or stamina points. 8th level's an ASI, but 9th level gets us Prayer's Fury. Once per long rest, you can use your gun to attack a creature and then cast a spell of 1st level or higher, including light spells but not heavy spells, on that creature as a part of the same action. A great feature to make good use of both your guns and your Witchfire magic as opposed to one or the other. Following that at 10th level, you get Witchbane. This feature grants you resistance to damage from spells, grants you advantage against spell saves and saving throws against magical effects in general, and additionally, this feature makes it so that creatures hit by your spell attacks must make a con save. If they fail, the creature has disadvantage on concentration checks and spell attack rolls until the end of your next turn. At 11th level, each subclass gets their next feature. Man-at-Arms gets Firepower Boost. In short, the damage die of any and all attacks you make with any and all firearms now increases by 1 stage, so a D4 now becomes a D6, or 2D2 now becomes 2D4. Really making using your guns worth, and definitely making ammo conservation a must. Warlocks gets Circle of Life, where, if you kill a creature with the damage of the Decay condition inflicted by a Decay spell, you regain a spell slot equal to the one you spent on the Decay spell that inflicted the condition to begin with. So a potentially self-perpetuating spell machine, where killing with a spell condition gets the spell slot back, though the stamina cost for spells prevents that of course. Last for 11th level, Witch Hunters get Rejuvenation, which doubles your stamina regain. Witch Hunter really is the subclass of passives. It's very uninvolved and is more suited for the player that wants a strong character, but doesn't want to specialize in, say, a certain weapon type or in magic. Witch Hunters are best for players who want to be melee prayers and potentially even spell swords. 12th level is that dang old ASI, and 13th level gets us Witch Sight. To prevent witches from escaping by becoming invisible or entering the ethereal plane, Witch Sight allows you to see both invisible creatures and you can see into the ethereal plane. You also gain advantage on insight and investigation checks to discern a creature or object's true nature, so illusions won't work either. 14th level is when we get one of our best offensive tools, Prayer's Doom. by harnessing all of the power of the Witchfire coursing through our veins. Once per long rest, you can unleash a blast of Witchfire on a target within 60 feet. If you do, they take a massive 10d10 fire damage and 10d10 necrotic damage, so a max of 200 damage in all, 100 of an easily and commonly resisted damage type and 100 from one that isn't, and then they've got to make a con save. If they fail, they instantly die. It's a once per long rest power, but man, if this ain't a get out of jail free card, I don't know what is. Granted, it would absolutely blow if your one-hit kill spell attack missed, or if it didn't do a lot of damage, or half of it was resisted, or if the insta-kill didn't proc, but several points of failure is the price you pay for such a strong feature. The balance for a 200 damage insta-kill attack is that there are tons of ways it can go wrong, and you only get one shot. 15th level gives Man-at-Arms the Revenge feature, which further increases the damage die of all of his firearm attacks by 1 stage for 3 rounds following his taking damage. So more damage, but the trade-off is that it only lasts 3 rounds, it doesn't stack with itself, and you, as a ranged DPS, have to take damage. So I guess it's more likely to proc for people that choose the Echo Shotgun because they're closer to danger and more likely to get hit and take damage, but I'd still say it's a strong feature for any Man-at-Arms. 15th level grants Warlocks double light spell and fast heavy spell, a feature that allows you to cast a light spell as an action, and then cast a second light spell as a part of the same action without expending a spell slot, and allows you to cast a heavy spell as a bonus action. Warlock's getting pretty spicy here. If you've got the spell slots and stamina for it, you can potentially cast 3 spells in 1 round. Eat your heart out, Quicken Spell meta magic. Witch Hunters get a synergy bonus with any clerics, paladins, or other healers with bonus heal, which grants you an additional die of healing when you're healed. That also works on the potions of healing you're making out of the life essence of any creature you kill, making you yourself a self-perpetuating machine. 16th and 17th level get us an ASI and actually nothing, respectively, but 18th level is our last set of subclass features. Man-at-Arms is going to finish with Elemental Fire Rate. If you kill a creature with a firearm attack, and that creature had been inflicted with a condition from your elemental magic, you can make an additional attack with any of your firearms for the next minute. That doesn't stack on itself, but it does stack with other features. So if you have the ammo, you can potentially attack with a firearm at least 3 times from your normal attack, your extra attack, and this, if not more, since some guns have an additional attack built in, like the Cricket. That's pretty nutty. Not on the level of Fighter's 5 attacks at this point, but pretty close. Warlock ups the ante here with Immunity Spellcast, which makes you immune to all damage until the end of your next turn when you cast a leveled spell. As long as you have spell slots, which this class only has 2 at a time, but still, as long as you can cast a leveled spell, you can become immune to damage. 2 invincibility buttons you can hit whenever you need to is absolutely buck nutty, and great for the magic caster who probably isn't all that concerned with high AC or health. Witch Hunters get a massive boost in the More Stamina feature, where you're given 10 additional points of stamina, making your effective stamina pool monstrously vast. With this feature, it's now much easier to consistently use your Witchfire Misty Step Dash or Double Jump, and cast light and heavy spells, especially with the Rejuvenation feature doubling your stamina point recovery. This is what I mean. No new firearm power boost or firearm related ability, no new super spell buff, just more of the already great built-in stuff. 19th level is the last ASI, and Deus Volt at 20th level is an absolute blowout. From this feature, you get it all. You gain all of the weapons you could choose from at 2nd level, so Echo, Midas, Hailstorm, All-Seeing Eye, Cricket, the whole gambit. And you can create a portal to a stronghold called the Sanctuary once per long rest. This Sanctuary is basically a player home, but there's also a Vatican shop in Sanctuary where you can restock on stuff like items, equipment, and most importantly ammo, though what exactly is sold and at what price is up to the discretion of the DM. That's pretty much all she wrote for the class. One of my most recently created brand new homebrew builds, like not including all the BBS subclasses. I absolutely love this class, and while I think some features are a little underpowered and some, like Prayer's Doom, are overpowered, all in all, I love the flavor and uniqueness of this class, the reliability and stability of the base class, and the diversity of the subclasses gameplay-wise, and I had a blast making the class and making this video. Now, this class also comes with a bunch of spells as well, the light and heavy spells, and both the class and all of those spells will be included in a PDF document in the Google Drive down below. That's right. To celebrate this homebrew build that's been a year in the making, this will be the first non-XML document that I'll be making, though if you do want the XML file, that'll be there too. Well, be sure to like and subscribe, and also remember to vote since we'll be doing the originally planned voting poll for the next homebrew build. Alright, I've been the monster of YouTube, and this has been Dungeons & Dragons Homebrew Builds. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.